Hey ladies, so today I'm going to be reading In Like a Lion to my good buddy Arlo, and I'll be introducing Arlo in another video so you all know who he is. But this is kind of a longer chapter, so buckle up. I never guessed I'd be a good basketball player. I mean, I'd always loved ball, mostly because my father loved it so much and because Rowdy loved it even more. But I figured I'd always be one of those players who sat on the bench and cheered his bigger, faster, and more talented teammates to victory and or defeat. But somehow or another, as the season went on, I became a freshman starter on a varsity basketball team. And sure, all my teammates were bigger and faster, but none of them could shoot like me. I was the hired gunfighter. Back on the res, I was a decent player, I guess. A rebounder and a guy who could run up and down the floor without tripping. But something magical happened to me when I went to Reardon. Overnight, I became a good player. I suppose it had something to do with confidence. I mean, I'd always been the lowest Indian on the reservation totem pole. I wasn't expected to be good, so I wasn't. But in Reardon, my coach and the other players wanted me to be good. They needed me to be good. They expected me to be good. And so I became good. I wanted to live up to expectations. I guess that's what it comes down to. The power of expectations. And as they expected more of me, I expected more of myself. And it just grew and grew until I was scoring 12 points a game. As a freshman. Coach was thinking I could be an all-state player in a few years. He was thinking maybe I'd play some small college ball. It was crazy. How often does a reservation Indian kid hear that? How often do you hear the words Indian and college in the same sentence? Especially in my family. Especially in my tribe. But don't think I'm getting stuck up or anything. It's still absolutely scary to play ball, to compete, to try to win. I throw up before every game. Coach said he used to throw up before games. Kid, he said, some people need to clear the pipes before they can play. I used to be a yucker. You're a yucker. Ain't nothing wrong with being a yucker. So I asked Dad if he used to be a yucker. What's a yucker, he asked. Somebody who throws up before basketball games, I said. Why would you throw up? Because I'm nervous? You mean because you're scared? Nervous, scared, same kind of things, aren't they? Nervous means you want to play. Scared means you don't want to play. Alright, so Dad made it clear. I was a nervous yucker in Reardon. Back in Wellpennant, I was a scared yucker. Nobody else on my team was a yucker. Didn't matter one way or the other, I guess. We were just a good team. Period. After losing our first game to Wellpennant, we won 12 in a row. We just killed people, winning by double figures every time. We beat our arch rivals Davenport by 33. Townspeople were starting to compare us to the great Reardon teams of the past. People were starting to compare some of our players to the great players of the past. Roger, our big man, was the new Joel Wetzel. Jeff, our point guard, was the new little Larry Soliday. James, our small forward, was the new Keith Schultz. But nobody talked about me that way. I guess it was hard to compare me to other players from the past. I wasn't from the town, not originally, so I would always be an outsider. And no matter how good I was, I would always be an Indian. And some folks just found it difficult to compare an Indian to a white guy. It wasn't racism, not exactly. It was, well, I don't know what it was. I was something different, something new. I just hope that 20 years in the future, they'd be comparing some kid to me. Yeah, you see that kid shoot? He reminds me so much of Arnold Spirit. Maybe that will happen. I don't know. Can an Indian have a legacy in a white town? And should a teenager be worried about his frickin' legacy anyway? Jeez, I must be an egomaniac. Well, anyway, our record was 12 wins and 1 loss when we had our rematch with Wellpennant. They came to our gym, so I wasn't going to get burned at the stake. In fact, my white fans were going to cheer for me like I was some kind of crusading warrior. Geez, I felt like one of those Indian scouts who led the U.S. cavalry against other Indians. But that was okay, I guess. I wanted to win. I wanted revenge. I wasn't playing for the fans. I wasn't playing for the white people. I was playing to beat Rowdy. Yep. I wanted to embarrass my best friend. He turned into a stud on his team. He was only a freshman too, but he was averaging 25 points a game. I followed his progress in the sports section. He led the Wellpennant Redskins to a 13-0 record. They were the number 1 ranked small school in the state. Wellpennant had never been ranked that high, and it was all because of Rowdy. We were ranked number 2, so our game was a big deal, especially for a small school battle. And most especially because I was a Spokane Indian playing against his old friends and enemies. A local news crew came out to interview me before the game. So Arnold, how does it feel to play against your former teammates? The sports guy asked me. It's kind of weird, I said. How weird? Really weird. Yep, I was scintillating. The sports guy stopped the interview. Listen, he said, I know this is a difficult thing. You're young, but maybe you could be more specific with your feelings? My feelings? I asked. Yeah, this is a major deal in your life, isn't it? Well, duh. Yeah, of course it was a major deal. It was maybe the biggest thing in my life ever, but I wasn't about to share my feelings with the whole world. I wasn't going to start blubbering for the local sports guy like he was my priest or something. I had some pride, you know? I believed in my privacy. It wasn't like I'd called the guy and offered up my story, you know? And I was kind of suspicious that white people were really interested in seeing some Indians battle each other. I think it was sort of like watching dogfighting, you know? It made me feel exposed and primitive. So, okay, the sports guy said. Are you ready to try again? Yeah. Okay, let's roll. The camera guy started filming. So, Arnold, the sports guy said, back in December, you faced your old classmates and fellow Spokane tribal members in a basketball game back on the reservation, and you lost. They're now the #1 ranked team in the state, and they're coming to your home gym. How does that make you feel? Weird, I said. Cut, 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 the sports guy said. He was mad now. Arnold, he said, could you maybe think of a word besides weird? I thought for a bit. Hey, I said, how about I say that it makes me feel like I've had to grow up really fast, too fast, and I've come to realize that every single moment of my life is important, and that every choice I make is important, and that a basketball game, even a game between two small schools in the middle of nowhere, can be the difference between being happy and being miserable for the rest of my life. Wow, the sports guy said. That's perfect. That's poetry. Let's go with that, okay? Okay, I said. Okay, let's roll the tape, the sports guy said again and put the microphone in my face. Arnold, he said, tonight you're going into battle against your former teammates and Spokane tribal members, the well-pennant Redskins. They're the #1 ranked team in the state, and they beat you pretty handily back in December. Some people think they're going to blow you out of the gym tonight. How does that make you feel? Weird, I said. All right, that's it, the sports guy said. We're out of here. Did I say something wrong? I asked. You're a little asshole, the sports guy said. Wow, are you allowed to say that to me? I'm just telling the truth. He had a point there. I was being a jerk. Listen, kid, the sports guy said. We thought this was an important story. We thought this was a story about a kid striking out on his own, about a kid being courageous, and all you want to do is give us grief. Wow. He was making me feel bad. I'm sorry, I said. I'm just a yucker. What? The sports guy asked. I'm a nervous dude, I said. I throw up before games. I think I'm sort of just metaphorically throwing up on you. I'm sorry. The thing is, the best player on Well-Pennant, Rowdy, he used to be my best friend. And now he hates me. He gave me a concussion that first game. And now I want to destroy him. I want to score 30 points on him. I want him to remember this game forever. Wow, the sports guy said. You're pissed. Yeah. You want me to say that stuff on camera? Are you sure you want to say that? Yeah. All right, let's go for it. They set up the camera again, and the sports guy put the microphone back in my face. Arnold, you're facing off against the #1 ranked well-pennant Redskins tonight, and they're all-star Rowdy, who used to be your best friend, back when you went to school on the reservation. They beat you guys pretty handily back in December, and they gave you a concussion. How does it feel to be playing them again? I feel like this is the most important night of my life, I said. I feel like I have something to prove to the people in Reardon, the people in Well-Pennant, and to myself. And what do you think you have to prove? The guy asked. I have to prove that I am stronger than everybody else. I have to prove that I will never give up. I will never quit playing hard, and I don't just mean in basketball. I'm never going to quit living life this hard, you know? I'm never going to surrender to anybody. Never. Ever, ever. How bad do you want to win? I never wanted anything more in my life. Good luck, Arnold. We'll be watching. The gym was packed 2 hours before the game. 2,000 people yelling and cheering and stomping. In the locker room, we all got ready in silence. But everybody, even Coach, came up to me and patted my head or shoulder or bumped fists with me or gave me a hug. This was my game. This was my game. I mean, I was still just the second guy off the bench, just the dude who provided instant offense. But it was all sort of warrior stuff, too. We were all boys desperate to be men, and this game would be a huge moment in our transition. Okay, everybody, let's go over the game plan, Coach said. We all walked over to the chalkboard area and sat on folding chairs. Okay, guys, Coach said. We know that what these guys can do. They're averaging 80 points a game. We want to run and run and run. And when they're done running and gunning, then we're going to run and gun some more. Man, that wasn't much of a pep talk. It sounded like Coach was sure we were going to lose. And I have to be honest, guys, Coach said. We can't be these guys with our talent. We just aren't good enough. But I think we have bigger hearts. I think we have a secret weapon. I wondered if Coach had maybe hired some mafia dude to take out Rowdy. We have Arnold's spirit, Coach said. Me? I asked. Yes, you, Coach said. You're starting tonight. Really? Really. And you're going to guard Rowdy the whole game. He's your man. You have to stop him. If you stop him, we win this game. It's the only way we're going to win this game. Wow, I was absolutely stunned. Coach wanted me to guard Rowdy. Now, okay, I was a great shooter, but I wasn't a great defensive player. Not at all. There's no way I could stop Rowdy. I mean, if I had a baseball bat and a bulldozer, maybe I could stop him. But without real weapons, without a pistol, a man-eating lion, and a vial of bubonic plague, I had zero chance of competing directly with Rowdy. If I guarded him, he was going to score 70 points. Coach, I said, I'm really honored to do this, but I don't think I can do it. He walked over to me, kneeled, and pushed his forehead against mine. Our eyes were like an inch apart. I could smell the cigarettes and chocolate on his breath. You can do it, Coach said. Oh man, that sounded just like Eugene. He always shouted that during any game I ever played. It could be like a three-legged sack race, and Gene would be all drunk and happy in the stands, and he'd be shouting, Junior, you can do it! Yeah, that Eugene, he was a positive dude, even as alcoholic, who ended up getting shot in the face and killed. Jeez, what a sucky life. I was about to play the biggest basketball game of my life, and all I could think about was my dad's dead best friend. So many ghosts. You can do it, Coach said again. He didn't shout it, he whispered it, like a prayer. And then he kept whispering it, until the prayer turned into a song. And then for some magical reason, I believed in him. Coach had become like the priest of basketball, and I was his follower. And I was going to follow him onto the court and shut down my best friend. I hope so. I can do it, I said to Coach, to my teammates, to the world. You can do it, Coach said. I can do it. You can do it. I can do it. Do you understand how amazing it is to hear that from an adult? Do you know how amazing it is to hear that from anybody? It's one of the simplest sentences in the world. Just 4 words. But they're the 4 hugest words in the world when they're put together. You can do it. I can do it. Let's do it. We all screamed like maniacs as we ran out of the locker room and onto the basketball court where 2,000 maniac fans were screaming. The Reardon band was rocking some Led Zeppelin. As we ran around our warm-up layup drills, I looked up into the crowd to see if my dad was in his usual place, high up in the northwest corner, and there he was. I waved at him. He waved back. Yep, my daddy was an undependable drunk, but he'd never missed any of my organized games, concerts, plays, or picnics. He may not have loved me perfectly, but he loved me as well as he could. My mom was sitting in her